Right, okay, so Migson, thanks very much for coming on.
No worries.
How's your day been today?
It's been alright, it's working in a cafe and then just think about music in the afternoon, so yeah.
Brilliant. Suppose for those of us who don't know so much about what you're doing, what's been your sort of musical journey? When did you start writing music? And
it was 2009.
2000. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, quite a long time ago. I started like a punk band we called Ugly Fashion.
Right.
And then it used to be a 4-piece band, and then the singer left us, and then we couldn't find a new singer. And I thought I might as well just give it a go myself. And then I heard a singer called Richard Hell, and I learned one of his songs, Blank Generation. And I thought, yeah, it sounds a bit similar to me, so stuck with that. And then did the first gig as a singer in like 2010, and then that was pretty good for like a year and a bit, and broke up 2011, and then got back together with a new drummer in 2014 until 2016. Then the drummer left us again, and then I bought a loop pedal after hearing Tash Sultana do songs with that, and I thought that's cool. And then so I bought a loop pedal, and then started making my own music with that in 2018, and then a year later I moved to Manchester. Then here I am now. Doing a few open mic nights, a few gigs.
Yeah. And your movement to Manchester, was that why Manchester? Was that just university motivated?
No, I like a lot of bands here, like Buzzcocks, Magazine, Cabbage, Joy Division, bands like that.
Yeah.
So I was torn between here and Liverpool.
Yeah.
And then my sister moved to Liverpool, so I thought, okay, I'll just go to Manchester then.
Yeah.
And then no regrets. I like it. It's good.
It's a really interesting city, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you moved from Wales, was it?
Yeah. A place called Llandudno. On the coast,
Yeah. What was it like growing up there? Did you grow up there?
I grew up in the middle of nowhere. It's like between two towns, like 7 miles away between them all.
Yeah.
So proper in the countryside.
Wow.
And then, that was very quiet. And then I moved to Llandudno in 2014, I think, early 2014. Stayed there a few years, and then moved to Manchester in 2019. So.
How did you find it growing up in just in the middle of nowhere, as you put it?
It's very quiet, of course. So never hear any police sirens. But where I live now, I hear like at least 2 an hour.
Yeah.
So at least that. But yeah, obviously that's a lot different. But yeah, it's very peaceful where I came from. But then again, there's nothing happening, nothing around. So it's a bit.
Yeah. Did you find yourself wanting things to be happening?
Yeah, definitely. Like in the first early year or so for the band, I felt like we could definitely go somewhere. But obviously, like all the other band members like still in college and stuff, so we couldn't really go anywhere. And then we broke up, and then when we got back together in 2014, I just wanted to do it for fun. So I missed playing live with the band. And then after about a few months, we were getting pretty good. And then I thought, okay, we should actually do something. But then the drummer, he's a professional tattooist, so he's got his career sorted with that. So he didn't want to move, and then he left. He said, if you want to find a new drummer, you can just go ahead. Then there's not many musicians in North Wales anymore, so after like a few months of searching, I thought just start singing in the future. And then that's when I started doing stuff with the loop pedal. So it's basically sort of to replace band members.
Yeah.
Kind of works with some songs, but obviously.
Do you enjoy playing with? Is that what you like about loop pedal to some degree? Do you like that sort of?
Yeah, it feels like, because I used to do a lot of busking as well, just playing acoustic guitar, doing covers. Yeah. And while that's good, like I much prefer playing electric guitar and I play my own songs, but I don't like playing acoustic that much anymore. So like obviously when I started writing with a loop pedal, it feels like it's not just me on my own. It feels like a whole band. Yeah. So it feels like more of an atmosphere. It sounds less lonely on stage if I've got like drums, machine.
It does get quite lonely if it's just the guitar.
Yeah.
I suppose what's interesting about the loop pedal and why it's so successful for why it's so widely adopted is because it has a sort of funny balance between the sort of liberty of just having your own guitar and playing whatever you like to but then you also have a lot of freedom in the sense that you can play much more advanced things. Yeah. Because that's why it's really grown me playing acoustic guitar live because you know mics and stuff. But the one thing I really think about it that's annoying is like I can't fill it out in the way that I would want to, especially when I started, because it's just if you're just playing chords, it just sounds very, very sort of flat and untextured, and there's nothing worse really. But a loop pedal, it's amazing how it opens up the game a bit more.
Yeah. But also, it's quite difficult because if you make a mistake during the loop a bit, that's gonna be there all the time throughout the whole song.
That's the fear I have about it a bit.
And sometimes I don't notice it until like a minute later. I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
but it's too late to go back.
And you can't, you can't sort of delete it and start again.
Not if it's gone too far.
Yeah.
That's why it's annoying sometimes. I've got 2 channels on a loop pedal, so I can do like 2 different recordings at once. And then if one of them's slightly off timing, it's always going to be off timing.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that in a few of songs live, and it's like, it's not going well. But people say they didn't notice it, but I notice it, definitely.
Always.
It's like, it's not good.
When you record stuff, is that with a loop pedal?
Yeah. I started recording my EP just before lockdown. It was like end of 2019 with my friend Paul.
Yeah.
And then obviously he'd never recorded a loop pedal before either. And then neither had I. And I was like, I wasn't sure what to do. So we tried 2 different techniques. For like, I recorded 2 songs, and the first one I sort of played all the way through, so he has an idea of how it's going to sound, and then just basically just record all the sections at once, and then put it together, and that was quite confusing. And then what I did for the second song, I basically played it live, and we recorded that. So basically I just overdubbed what I recorded, and that was a lot easier. So then since then, for the rest of the songs in the EP, that's what we did.
Yeah.
Just basically record a live version and then slowly just replace it with recorded versions on top.
Yeah, I guess if you're used to doing that with a loop pedal, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you play, I've seen you play before with like a sort of violin bow.
Yeah.
Where's that come from? Because I've never seen that before.
No, it's from band Sigur Rós. They're from Iceland.
Right.
Like one of my favourite bands, and they play it with a violin bow. And I was like, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
And then I saw them live here in Manchester in like 2017, and then just sound come out of it live. It's like, just give you goosebumps. I was like, okay, I want to see if I can do that. And then my mum had an old violin. And then I asked her if I can borrow the bow, and she said, yeah, do you want the violin as well? I was like, no, just the bow. And then I started playing it, and then it was like, it didn't sound very good.
Yeah.
And I was like, tried those different effects on my guitar, and there wasn't kind of anything. And then I spoke to a friend about it, and then he said, you need to put rosin on it. It's like sort of this waxy thing. So you put that on the bow, and then it puts all makes it all together, so it doesn't slip. And then put that on it, and then played it. And it's like, okay, now it works.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this sounds good now. So I put distortion on, then put a bit of delay. And I was like, okay, it sounds really good. And then
it's very cool sounds.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's mixed opinions things. Sometimes it sounds like a whale, but I quite like that.
Yeah, I mean that's not. Yeah. I don't really see that as a bad thing myself.
Unless people say it sounds like a dying cat, but you know, it's music.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's so good about it on stage is it's something to look at. I think it goes for a lot of your stuff generally. It's very catches the eye very easily.
Yeah.
And if you've got a cool thing like a sort of violin bass player or something, the sound itself doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it's just people, at least they see it and it's like, wow, that's something cool, you know.
For me, it's not original, but like most places I go to, like people never seen that before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, every time I like look up and it's like people like,
yeah.
Okay. They're not
are they how successful is this Icelandic bands that you got it from? Was it an Icelandic band or
Sigur Rós?
Sigur Rós,
yeah. They're obviously from Iceland, so but yeah, they're very big. You probably recognise some of the songs.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're really cool.
Yeah, because it does seem to be like a lot of stuff that is big, is popular, is like associated with certain bands, is almost always just nicked from something else.
Yeah.
I think we've got a bit of a tendency just to see things as sort of original or unoriginal. But I think there's so much stealing that goes on in creative fields. Yeah. And you have to kind of embrace that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, it's everything's just sort of amalgamation of the things gone before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen Jimmy Page do it back in like the 60s,
Oh, really?
70s. Yeah, so like, so some people think I got it from him,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's not. But I don't know if Sigur Rós got that from Jimmy Page, so maybe
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I don't know, who knows,
Wonder
maybe
who Jimmy Page
I'll
got it
influence
from.
someone else to do it one day.
Yeah,
I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, I want to get a violin bow now." I say, "Okay, let's go for it."
Yeah.
Just don't steal my tricks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm surprised more people don't do it for some reason.
Yeah.
It seems
maybe they're at home practicing still.
Yeah.
And then they come on next week.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. So yeah.
But I don't know. There are so many techniques out there, sort of music techniques for the guitar that, like the sort of finger picking thing where you kind of play it with your the fret and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this violin trick just seems so kind of obvious once you think of it. But
yeah.
No one's doing it.
No.
So it's really
like a lot of people are surprised that it works on a guitar.
Yeah.
But I don't see why it wouldn't. It just strings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when are you just doing like chords with it, or is it?
I do a guitar solo as well, but like
really?
on the top string where I just sort of rest it. Like I'm showing it.
Yeah.
So I sort of like rest it on the top and then play the violin. So it's like sort of shortens the fret, so I get a really high pitched voice. Sound. So that's what I do. And then just use that.
Yeah.
It's quite cool.
And in terms of so you've recorded one EP.
Yeah.
That was released.
It was
quite
January.
Yeah.
About 6 months ago.
So what's your kind of, where do you see the next year or so going for your music?
I just want to go back to recording because I've got a new single I want to put out soon.
Yeah.
Then while I'm doing that, I'm also writing 3-part songs.
Right.
So it's like, it's going to be quite long, but it's going to sound like one song, but it's got 3 different parts to it, 3 different sections, but it's all going to blend together. And then you can listen to it on repeats, like sort of infinity, because like the third part could also blend into the first part. So it'd be like infinity loop. So I'm hoping that'll work.
Wow, that does sound really cool actually.
Yeah, it's just taking a lot of time. I hope it'll work.
What was your thoughts on bands like Pink Floyd and stuff?
I like Pink Floyd a lot.
Yeah, I guess they were really big for the whole blending of different...
I suppose, like a lot of the early psychedelic stuff.
Yeah.
Someone said, like, did a gig in Bolton like a few months ago, and then someone said, I reminded them of Syd Barrett from early Pink Floyd, and I was like, I've not had that before, but that's cool.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I think he's amazing, Syd Barrett.
Yeah.
Real inspiration to me actually. I love the sort of very English sort of the way he sings. And
but I also really like the visuals on stage, like the lights shining on them. Velvet Underground did that down as well. So.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I'd like to do that one day. Just get like black screen, put like loads of projections on me.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, if you had a bigger budget for your live shows, what would you add?
I don't know. I'd like to write songs with keyboard as well, just add more instruments.
Yeah.
But obviously, on my own, it's going to be a lot to carry.
Yeah.
Because I used to carry 2 guitars, because I used to carry Les Paul with me as well.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot easier to play with a violin bow, because the bridge is quite high up and get like a better angle on it. And then when I first started, I used to carry my acoustic guitar as well.
Oh really?
So I used to put 3 guitars in a suitcase and take it with me.
That must have been
and then
stress.
and then I bought an acoustic foot pedal. So I just I don't need the acoustic guitar anymore. I just use that little pedal.
Yeah.
So I stick that on an electric guitar, and it sounds pretty much like an acoustic guitar. So that's good. So I'm sort of using more but less. You know what I mean? Because I've got a drum machine now as well, so I don't need a drummer anymore. It would help, but drum machine's good enough for now.
Do you see yourself going to a point where you're playing with other people?
I'd like to, but I also want to go back to being in a band.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of stuff I'm trying to write, it's hard to write on loop pedal because you can't like change that much on it. He always has to keep the same tempo and also has to keep like the same basic chords going over and over. So it's difficult. Because like one of the songs on my EP, I can't play that live because it's got too much going on at the same time. So if I wanted to loop everything, it'd be like a 10-minute song.
Yeah.
I'm not playing that. It's
Yeah.
slow songs. I was like, no,
Yeah.
just keep it
Yeah.
on the recorded version.
So for something like that, you think live?
Yeah.
Live
I would definitely like
would be good.
Be in a band again, or like play with the band. Cause like,
Yeah.
I like to have a drummer,
Mm.
just like change things up a bit. Because if I play with a loop pedal and the drummer, and I'm in a drum machine, it has to be the same beat over and over and over, so I can't change that. So
Yeah.
after a while, it would just get a bit boring.
Mm.
So it'd be good to have a drummer, just do a few fills and all that every now and then.
Yeah, there is something very unsatisfying about a drum machine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, but it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does just leave you wanting more, which is
Yeah.
weird because it's not like that goes for every instrument.
No.
But somehow faking a drum sound
Yeah.
is sort of people, even though it's so annoying. I mean, that's the thing that's really hard about live music, is actually getting the drum to places or having a drum kit at the venue and then miking it up and stuff. I mean, that's basically most of the work. Yeah, and then finding one as well. Like, so it's impossible. But people just don't like having a like a loop drum. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
I don't know. I don't know. It kind of sounds fake. Like I don't know. That's why I don't want to play along to a backing track.
Yeah.
Obviously, for some songs it'd be better, but I don't feel like if I've gone to the effort to record a backing track, I may as well just pre-record the whole thing. So I want it. It's like the whole point of playing live music is because it's all live.
Yeah.
So I don't want to just turn up, press play and something. Just,
yeah, that's the danger you get
DJ,
into. But it seems like music is more moving in that direction a bit sometimes, just because like just the nature of the music, that like how it's recorded and stuff. I mean, like indie music and like, you know, I guess guitar-based music, still quite rooted in not doing that. But like you look at sort of hip hop or rap music, and there's just completely done away with any, you know, like there's no shame in just pressing the backing track. Which is weird because and yeah, everyone's completely fine with it. I'm not sure what to make of that.
Maybe one day I'll go to backing track, play a couple of songs, see how it sounds. But yeah,
I mean, I used to be quite against it for like, especially like open mics and stuff, because I just thought it was very, like, it was a bit jarring, you know, like, and jarring in the sense that it just didn't really fit with the kind of aesthetic of the evening. Like, it's all about playing your own instrument and stuff. But I'm slightly more sympathetic towards it now. Because I think it is quite constraining, the guitar. I mean it's a good instrument, but sonically, you know, it's quite limiting as to what you can do with it. And like, I can see some music. You want to welcome all types of music to an open mic, really. And like, music's just come such a long way that you either have to start declining certain genres of music, or let people play stuff that's not guitar. And because of the constraints of an open mic, sometimes that means just playing a backing track. And I thought about it myself, because some of the music I'm making now, I can play it on a guitar, but it kind of misses the point if I do, because it's so tied up in like the sort of sound the sort of soundscape I'm creating. And it would just sound a bit shit with just guitar. But yeah. But how about, have you ever tried just playing an open mic with just guitar and no loop pedal?
Not with electric. I've done it with acoustic. Because I've written a couple of acoustic songs now as well. And then obviously I've learned loads of covers over the years. So yeah, I've done that, which is good. It's fine. It's fine for the acoustic guitar, but yeah, I remember when I first started playing on my own, I didn't have an acoustic guitar. So I was learning a bit of covers, then just used my electric guitar for that, and then it sounded alright. then luckily my old drummer turned up to one of the gigs. And then he's like,
Yeah.
"Do you want to jump on the drum kit?" It's like, "Yeah, fine." So we played a few old songs. Then after that, just did like a couple more gigs, like just my electric guitar, no drummer, no back tracks or anything. And then it sounded right, but it was clearly missing something. And then because like if it's acoustic guitar, it sounds nice on its own.
Yeah.
Rather than electric guitar on its own.
Yeah, there is something. It leaves you wanting more just an electric guitar.
Yeah. But then a few months after, I bought an acoustic guitar around busking, and then I started doing more acoustic gigs on my own. And then, yeah, that was fine for a few years, then I just got bored of it.
Yeah. So tell me about your history busking. Like, where do you busk?
I've not done it for like 3 years now, but I used to busk a lot in Llandudno in North Wales.
Yeah.
And then, I started making a bit of decent money for it, because I didn't have a job at the time either. Because I couldn't really find a job where I was living, because there's nowhere around. And then, I started doing that, and then I just enjoyed it. It's getting a bit of money, not too much money, but it was a decent amount. And then I started doing it like 5 days a week, something like that. And then after a while, I started like writing short little stories about my days. And then, so basically like keeping a diary. And then I started posting them online on Facebook. And then a lot of people liked them. And I said, "Oh, you should carry on writing." And then over like the next maybe 5-6 years, I got like maybe 250 stories, like short stories about busking. And then I'm in the middle of like putting that into a book. Yeah. So I've got a big book of like short stories. So in the background, like I'm like still working on that as well. So it's like nearly complete, nearly ready to be published. But
when you say stories, like what do you mean? Like just people who come up to you and stuff?
It's people I meet, what's happened. Like I made some interview, I met someone that went to school with John Lennon. That's really cool, yeah.
Wow.
And then the band Caption the Bottom, and they're from Llandudno as well. And then one of the bass player walked past me once and was like, "Oh, can I play one of your songs?" I was like, "Do you want to play one of the songs?" I said, "Yeah." So I played the song Kathleen for him. So that's really cool. Yeah. And then, so obviously that's a pretty cool story. I put that in there. And then about a year later, they were on, I think, Radio 1, doing an interview, and then they mentioned that little moment on the radio. Really? I was like, that's pretty cool. Wow. So I've got a lot of cool stories like that. And then
that's amazing. Wow.
There's a lot of old people in Llandudno, so I've got a lot of little cute stories about them. And then I met this writer called Charlie Seeger as well. Don't know if you know him. He's like
I recognise that name.
Crime novel writer.
Yeah.
And then it was weird. He was talking to me, saying he's still at busking in Llandudno in the 60s, and then talking about stuff about it. And I was like, that's quite cool. And then 2 other guys come up and saying, "Oh, are you Charlie Seeger?" And I heard you on the area. And then I shook his hand to a little chat with him. I was like, "Okay, who is this guy?" Yeah. And then he gave me a business card, and then I did some research. I was like, "Okay, he's quite famous then." Yeah. And then so that was a pretty cool story. So wow. Put on that.
You seem to have met quite a lot of quite noticeable people for...
Yeah. I met like Jake Bugg's neighbour as well. So he's played a couple of his songs. Then someone said, "Oh, just down the road that." And I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Oh, he lives just down the road." I was like, "What, Jake Bugg?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, that's cool, thanks."
Wow.
And then someone else said, "Oh, my son does a lot of music." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And then he said, "He's in a band." And I, "Oh, what's the band called?" And he said, "James." And at the time, I didn't know who they were. Yeah. And then I was like, "I've never heard of them. I don't know who they are." He's like, "Oh, no, heard of James." Oh. And then my housemate at the time, he's a big fan of them. And then he put the song like "Laid" and "Sit Down." And it's like, oh, of course I know this band. Yeah. So I felt stupid when I met the singer star. I don't even know who he was. So
my housemate had a story like that where her dad went to like some quite well connected school for like music people, and he was like, oh, who's that guy from who's the other guy from Take That? It's Gary Barlow and can't remember. It was like one of the guys from Take That. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's realised it. Yeah, I can't really explain the story, but it was like he said that his dad's friend knew someone who was in a band with Gary Barlow, and I was like, oh, it must have been like a sort of little school band or something. And he was like, I was like, oh, what was the band called? And she was like, oh, take that. You know, but yeah, it's weird how well connected everyone is, especially here in Manchester. Like, it's so weird. You just get talking to people, and they know someone famous, like quite quickly, it's weird. It's a very connected world.
So I've done a bit of busking in Manchester with one of my friends, and then we were singing the Stone Roses song, and then someone just walked past and said, "Oh, Ian Brown was just down the road 10 minutes ago."
Really?
And I was like, "Oh, if we just played that 10 minutes earlier, you could have walked past."
That is gutting.
So I was like, I don't know if you made it up, but it's quite funny. I know, it's a cool story.
Which one did you play?
It was either Made of Stone or I Want to Be Adored. It was one of two. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, that's a good one to busk. I Want to Be Adored. And when you busked in Manchester, whereabouts are you doing it?
It was is it St Anne's Square?
St Anne's Square. I don't think I've heard of that.
It's near the Barton Arcade, I think it is. It's near. There's McDonald's there and HSBC. It's just near the Arndale.
Oh right.
Yeah. And then went busking like near the Mark Spencer's there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, because I spoke to someone who is also a musician in Manchester, and he's very big on busking.
Yeah.
And he's made like good money off it. Like. And he says the places to go is like Chiltern and Didsbury. Well, it's weird. I don't know how he makes so much money there. Because there's just no one about. And it's weird like how much the different areas of Manchester make different money off.
Because I've tried it in like on Market Street once. And I was like, there's loads of people, but it's like it's too noisy. No one really hears you, and they don't listen to you.
That's the problem I've had with it when I bust in Market Street. I want to get like a little like an amp or something that I can carry around. Because I think if you do have like the proper setup, the Market Street is like I've seen people make like, racks there, and like people properly stopping. And,
so I want to try and do that as well, because I think if I do that with like my electric stuff, my loop pedal and everything, I think I'd probably get quite a decent reaction because I've got so much going on. It's not just me on my own, but I need to find like a portable speaker. I also need to find like a battery.
It's
pedals.
long to do. It's long to do.
So, but I'm sure it'll be worth it in the end if I keep doing it. But maybe in the summer I'll give it a go.
Yeah, and you're just busking with an acoustic.
Yeah,
fair play.
But it was nice in Llandudno because it's so quiet. You don't need an amplifier or a speaker.
And
then it's mainly old people, so they walk slowly past you. Because I used to play mainly stuff from like 60s and 70s, so they remember them. Like one time I was playing a song by Mort the Hoople, and then he was saying like that was in the charts when he was growing up, and then he said, "I don't think I've heard it since." I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't
it?
No, I used to busk just with literally this guitar, which is like a sort of classical nylon string. Like it's not really. I mean, you can strum it, but it's not really what it's made for, and it's not particularly loud.
No.
Really nice guitar, but until literally like a few weeks ago when I bought that one, which is much louder. But I do quite like. I'm glad that I played with this one in the past because it's just so like it was so hard to play with it without any amplification. It doesn't even have a strap on it. And it really teaches you how to perform just with the rawness, just the most basic elements. And then when you go to like an open mic or a gig or something, and you're mic'd up, it's all well balanced. It's just like you're on cruise control by that point. It's all the difficulties are no longer there. But do you ever find that with busking that it's kind of harder because you're a bit more vulnerable?
Sometimes, especially like the first couple of songs, because I don't know how my voice is gonna sound. I don't know like what people are gonna be like, because like I try to judge people if I see someone walk past like a band t-shirt, and then I'd be like, okay, I know that band, I'll play my song. But like often it's like you could just miss someone. You could be playing someone's like favourite song, and then they walk past just 5 minutes too late or something. Or you never know.
Do you think a lot of busking, like a lot of money you make from busking is by like the songs you play? or do you think it's just how well you play them?
A bit of both. I mean, I do often get like people saying like, "Oh, I love that song, love that band," or whatever, and then yeah, you just get a couple of people saying, "I used to like bleach blonde hair," and then it's "I used to give you money because I like your hair." I was like, "Alright, cool."
Oh wow, yeah.
It's fine about me.
Well, I think a lot of busking is how you look.
Yeah.
Like almost as much as what you sound like and what you're playing.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing I really noticed with busking, and I try to capitalise on it a bit. Is like if people take pictures of you or something.
Yeah.
Like that's almost better.
Yeah.
If you look the part, then you're kind of there.
Yeah.
You know. And I suppose you're a good example of this because you do really like dress up for a gig. I've seen that photo of you on the gigs and bands thing, and you got like the sort of sunglasses on and stuff, and you got the violin thing, and it's like that's what you need, you know. And you see that, and you've already got sort of idea of what your music's like. And, you know, like you're not just standing there in a black t-shirt, and you know, which a lot of people do, which is it's such an annoying waste when people do that.
But it's hard, like, because you've got like with a band, you can have a band image.
Yeah.
But then if you see one picture of me, you're just gonna base the whole thing on like what I wore that day.
Yeah.
Whereas it's just me on my own, just an individual.
Do you put a lot of thought into kind of what you wear on stage?
Sometimes, not so much for open mics, but if I do gigs, I like I've done this, like painting my own t-shirts, like in the style like Migson Pollock paintings. Because I used to do my own t-shirts when I was a band as well. We called it Ugly Fashion. And then it's got an old t-shirt once, just put red paint on it, wrote Ugly Fashion on it. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah,
and then I
cool.
made more, and then I used to sell a few of them as well, like one of them. I was like,
How much do you sell them
for? Back then it was cheap. It was like few quid. So I was still in college. I wasn't really into money. I just wanted to make things for people.
Yeah.
So I was doing art for my course in college as well, and then so I was basically just using their t-shirts for my own grades, coursework, and this is basically given away. But yeah, so I've only started redoing these again on my own, and then I've had a couple of people saying they're interested in them, so just need to try and figure out the average price, how much I have to spend on paint, how much mess I have to clean up. I've got a bit of mess, a bit of paint on my floor.
Oh really?
A little bit. I'll clean it up.
It's annoying. That's annoying.
But it's fine. It's good.
Yeah, merch is like such a key thing for me. For, like promotion. Like I tried to do some t-shirts for my acts. But it's very frustrating because I thought it'd be really easy. I just bought some like felt tip pens, some white t-shirts. Obviously, it's not going to look great, but I can just do a little sketch and like maybe someone will pay like good for them, or whatever. But it's a lot harder than I thought. And I just got a bunch of white t-shirts with kind of a mushroom drawn on it. And don't really know what to do with them, but it is a good thing to do. And you're interested in making them yourself rather than getting someone to, like a company.
I do want to get printed ones off my EP cover, so I think that's pretty cool because I'm wearing like a t-shirt of Pat Smith, wearing a t-shirt of Keith Richards. Then if you put that on a t-shirt, then someone wears that.
That is
like,
sick.
Going. It sort of suits that looping thing. Yeah, I want to try and get some of them done, but I also want to make these as well because I think it'll be more unique. But more,
it's
like,
a really nice design.
Because like it's not like if it just get printed off, it feels like someone else done it for me. Whereas it's got like my unique take on it. And obviously I can't judge all the paint splashes. They're all going to be different and unique. But
which is partly what someone's paying for at that level. It's like just your expression as a person.
It's basically buying one of my paintings.
So do you have like much of an interest in art as well?
Yeah, I used to, because I used to study art in college. So that was pretty good.
What sort of stuff?
I like painting like album covers and like film stars, like the singers. I used to do like a lot of Debbie Harry from Blondie. I used to paint her a lot. And then over lockdown, because I was unemployed, I wasn't making much money or nothing at all really. I started drawing again, and then I sold a few pieces, and then I got like tiny canvases like that big, and then I started like painting like album covers on them, so like square that size, tiny album covers, and selling them for like 10 each, and then I sold quite a lot of them, so I was getting quite a lot of requests. Oh, can you make me this one? Then someone like said, "Oh, I want 6 of them." I was like, "Okay." So I did like one of them was really difficult. It was like In Rainbows by Radiohead.
Oh god.
And then
that
on
must
that
be a
like that
nightmare.
size, I was like, okay, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And then it turned out pretty well. So, and then yeah, I did loads of them.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. That's a t-shirt reminds me a bit of In Rainbows actually.
Is
It's
it?
kind of not the colours so much, but
No, but it's because it's got like that explosion.
yeah.
In the background, yeah.
You much of a fan of Radiohead?
Can't say I've listened to much of them.
Yeah.
But I like what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, which songs you heard do you like?
Obviously, Creep. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I've got one of one of the albums. I think it's OK Computer.
Oh yeah.
It's got like white background.
Yeah.
Got it from Poundland.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, that must be pretty good.
As a record or like a CD?
It's a CD, yeah. As I listened to it, I was like, that's pretty good actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those bands that I'm still yet to explore a lot. Because I only started listening to like the Smiths like a couple of years ago, and I was like, they're a massive band. But then being in Manchester, I feel like I should know them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's still a lot of bands that I'm still getting to know.
No, same.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, it's quite a feat to get a decent understanding of just music.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much out there. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Like if you look like my top 10 band list like 10 years ago, you'd see like bands like the Sex Pistols, Ramones, they were there, like Misfits even. But now they probably wouldn't be in my top 30 bands because I've discovered so much more. Like since then. I still like them a lot, but there's more bands I like now.
Yeah, it's funny how your sort of tastes change and like something can sound really good, but you quickly get bored of it.
Yeah.
Like, I've always wondered about that. Like, how's that work? You know, how do you just sort of
I wouldn't say you get bored of it. You just like spend more time listening to other bands.
Yeah.
But then when you go back to like Ramones' first album or something like that, I was like, okay, yeah, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, it's good times.
I mean, that's like the thing is you just have to keep listening to different stuff. I think the trap I fall into a lot, and I see people do this all the time, is where you just keep listening to the same music, because it gives you that sort of sense of comfort.
Yeah.
And you're not necessarily enjoying the music anymore. You're just enjoying the sort of feeling, like what it reminds you of.
Yeah.
And I do that a lot, and I have to really discipline myself to discover new music.
Yeah.
Because it's quite a nice feeling, and getting nostalgic and listening to something, even if it's not a particularly old song.
Yeah.
It's like that song I listened to a week ago makes you feel a certain way. I
did that a few days ago. I was like just walking home somewhere on my iPod, and then I put a live Clash album on, and it was like my favourite album when I was like 18.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, this is a great album. Just brought back like youth memory, just walking around like. Cause it was at that time I was like started writing my own songs because I felt like being like a fresh new musicians writing songs.
Yeah.
Just that nostalgia thing.
It
was good.
Yeah, it's powerful. How, especially when you least expect it.
Yeah.
Like, you just re-listen to a song you listened to for like intensely for like a year or so ago.
Yeah.
You hear it again, and it's so weird. It's so weird how strong it is. Yeah. So you're thinking about releasing new music in the future?
Yeah, I'm trying to like go back to the recording studio, just record a single, maybe like 2 songs, like A side and a B side, and then while I'm releasing that, while that's out and about, keep working on that 3-part song.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try it.
I'm very excited about that. Actually.
I might not be able to play it live, or it'll sound very different. Because with one of my songs, the song "One with the Daggers," that's probably one of my favourites to play. And then I remember the first time I played that live, it was like took me like 7.5 minutes to complete it all because like so much looping going on. And then I took it to the studio and I said, "I've got this song. It's sort of complete, but I think we like cut a lot of it up." And then so we cut quite a lot of it up and then mixed it up, and then it was like 5 minutes in the end, and then I basically relearned to like play the studio version, and then it just sounds a lot better. But now I've cut like another verse of it, so it sounds like it's like 4.5 minutes now. So
you've really cut it down.
So yeah, so if I go to the studio with this 3-part song, it's better. I've got this big idea.
Yeah.
It's gonna start like this and end like that, but there's a bit of change in the middle as well. So just try and play it all the way through for him.
Yeah.
Or whoever's producing it for me, and then just see what he thinks we could do.
Mm.
Yeah, just hopefully it works out.
And what's your process with writing lyrics?
It depends. Like, sometimes I can, like, one of my songs, Martha Knows, I got the whole lyrics basically from listening to a song by John Cale, where it says, the Martha went away. And then I feel like, okay, all Martha said. And then I just wrote the whole lyrics out of that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes like a couple of years. Even more to like finish writing. Because I've got some songs I wrote like when I was in the band, like 6 years ago, whatever. I've still not finished because I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Because it's stuck in my head. But like recently, like one of my favourite songs, it's gonna be my new single. It's one of my favourite songs to play at the moment. It's called A Touch of a Heart of Ice. I wrote a verse or the chorus for that when I was busking in like 2003, or 2013, sorry.
Yeah.
And then lyrics just stay stuck in my head for years. I was like, I think it's good lyrics. I want to like use it sometime, but I can't think of like any more lyrics to go with it. And then things like last September, I just sat down. I had like 2 days off work. I was like, right, I'm just gonna sit down here and just try and work that song. So I got some chords together. It's like, okay, that sounds like good. Sounds like it work. And then I just kept adding more lyrics to it, like trying to get to that zone, trying to think what I was thinking of when I wrote it. And then, yeah, I finished it. And then I played it. I was like, okay, that sounds good. I was thinking for now, I might change it. And then I played it live and people liked it. And I was like, okay. And then one of my friends said, she's seen me a few times, and she said, oh, it's one of my favourite songs that you play. I said, alright, cool. And then a lot of people said this is probably the favourite of mine. So that's going to be my next single.
Yeah.
And then the B-side of that is going to be one of my old band songs, which I've started playing again, but like I've changed it a lot. Because like, it used to be like 2 minutes. It's just non-stop chords all the way through. But now I do like a bit like delay, a bit like psychedelic shoegaze sound over it.
Yeah.
So that's that's usually my closing song for my sets when I do the gigs. It's quite cool.
Yeah.
I like playing it. Yeah.
How much do you mix up your set list when you're playing?
It depends. If I play it over mic night, it's usually like 3 songs.
Yeah.
I like to play like no more than 2 slow songs. So 2 slow songs and a fast one, or 2 fast and a slow. But because the song with the violin bow is called Lost It, I like to play that, especially if I see like a lot of new face in the crowd. Because I think if I've got one song to press them, it'll be that one.
Yeah.
So I always try to include that, and I think I've played that. I think I've only not played that like 5 times at my gigs since I wrote it.
Yeah.
So because it's easy there, and then but now I'm trying to include more of my new songs, and then if I got like a fast song, I might put like the other songs fast as well. But I much prefer doing like 4 like 30-minute gigs, or at least that. So start off with a quite fast song, and then sort of slow it down, or then play the slow song with violin bow, then end with a fast one again. Or just mix it up a lot.
Yeah, the thing I think about open mics is it's really frustrating, but that 3 song limit is just not enough.
No.
Like, it just barely started.
Yeah.
And then it's like, time's up.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, like.
But it's also difficult because if someone goes before you, playing those of really chilled out, quiet songs, you feel like, okay, so you set the mood now. You can't go and do something completely different. And then, like, same with the opposite. If someone plays like live fast stuff, you don't want to go back, like just play a slow song straight away.
Is that something you think about, like what the person?
Yeah, because often, like throughout the day, I'm usually working before I do open mic night. So I'm thinking, okay, I'll play that song tonight. And I'm not playing that for a while. I'll play that one, whatever. And then as soon as I get there, I'm like, okay, I might not play that one. I'll play this one.
Yeah.
And then I saw, like, I played a few months ago, a few weeks ago. I was gonna play in Lazo Gallery.
Yeah.
And then I was gonna play like 3 quiet songs. But then I saw a guy with a Bad Brains t-shirt on. I was like, okay, he's probably into his punk. I might change this song then. So I thought, like, okay, I'd do like play my faster songs. And then he left just before I was going on. I was like, okay, now what do I do? Yeah. I was like, I'll just stick to what I want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good not to plan it too much.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I really don't decide what to play until like I'm so behind the mic a lot of the time. If it's just me doing it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a quote in the Odyssey which is like, the poet's the best song that the poet will sing is the one that comes freshest to his head, you know. So I think, yeah, almost good enough to think it in advance, because like you say, like you know what it's gonna be like when you're actually there.
But then sometimes I feel like I've not practiced some of the songs for ages, and like you feel like, okay, this would be a good song, but obviously you're not that comfortable playing it. So it's also good to stick to what you know.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I think, like, I play, there's one song I've got called Magazine that I play most times, and I'm kind of a bit sick of playing it now.
Yeah.
But it gets the best reaction out of all my songs by, like, quite a considerable margin. Like, it's really, I really notice it. So I do just kind of play it, even if I'm kind of bored of it, because it does kind of elicit a reaction, and that's kind of what it's all about to an extent.
Yeah, same for my song Lost It. Like I was saying, I played it at my first solo gig, and I still play it now.
Yeah.
I played it most of my gigs. And then I sort of feel like, oh, I don't really want to play it.
Yeah.
But then I like the songs, I really do. Because then as soon as I start the finger picking bit, it's like, okay, so that's quite nice. And then bring the violin bar, it's like, sometimes I get like, really good sound from the violin, but I've got like the right level of delay and distortion, so it's really cool. And I was like, okay, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like quite an acoustic stage, got like a lot of reverb going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always a good song to play. But I'd also wish I'd more variety. That's why I want to keep writing more songs, so I can have just pick and choose from like 10 songs or whatever, rather than 7 I've got now or whatever. But like also, you know, about that, I've gone back to rewriting a lot of my old band songs, because I think I wrote maybe 13, 14 songs on the band. And then since then I've only played maybe 4 of them live, so I just keep trying to like go back to rewriting them so they sound good on my own. Like, because some of them I won't be able to play live because it's got like different tempo changes, and then it just sounds like it's got a drum solo, so I can't obviously play that live. And then it just sounds too fast. It sounds like a Ramones song or a Buzzkill song, so obviously they won't sound good on its own. So you need like full band for that. But then other ones I could easily do, like I've gone back to playing the song Suicide and the song Still Life, and then when I do full 30-minute sets, both of them are usually included, because I really enjoy playing on my own now, and they sound good on my own. But other songs, you need a band.
Yeah. I mean, there comes a point, doesn't there? There comes a point. How much of the music is like impressing the audience, and how much of it is you enjoying it for you? But is it not something you think about?
Yeah, obviously you want to impress the audience, because they're there to see music, they want to be entertained. But that's why I feel bad sometimes playing like new songs that I'm not that comfortable playing it. But then again, at open mic nights, that's what it's for. It's like just good to practice, because you show off what you're working on. So obviously that's why if I do a new song, I want to play like my 2 of my best songs as well. Just like, okay, I'm not that awful all the time. I've got good songs as well. But yeah, also like when I play new songs, it would change like from week after week. So even the song Lost It, my most played song, it took me a year of that, and I kept changing it. Still changing, because I remember the first time I played it live, for the chords bit when I was singing, I'd pick up an acoustic guitar. So right at the bass line and the finger pick a bit of the guitar, put that down, pick up an acoustic guitar, loop the chords for that while I was singing, and then go back to the electric guitar, get the violin bow, and then it just, I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, obviously now, just after that, I feel like, okay, I can learn to do that without the acoustic guitar, and just like using like different effects on my guitars and pedals and stuff to make sounds better on my own, and then just keep cutting a bit out of it, adding more. It's quite tight now, it's good. So obviously if I play a new song, I like sort of playing it when it's not very good, you know what I mean? Because then I'll know, like, okay, maybe next month I'll look back at how it was, and like, okay, it sounds a lot better now. And then people saying, oh, that sounds really good now. I was like, okay, thanks. And then,
No, that makes sense. I mean, it's such a good place to just kind of
Yeah.
experiment.
But obviously, if people in the audience see you do that for the first time,
Yeah.
they're not gonna think he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
But
Mind you, like I think people worry too much about what
I
the
think I
audience
do
thinks.
sometimes as well.
Like, because the brutal truth is, half the time they're not really gonna notice you anyway, because they're like, a lot of the performers that are there aren't that interested in the other acts, you know, like I mean, you get the odds like people who are, obviously, but like by and large it's a nice idea that everyone's really watching really intently on the guy at stage at that moment, and then they get up and everyone like, but it's not the same energy as like a gig, really. And the only person who's really listening is you. And it's really important to remember, because if you realise that, you can really make peace with the purpose of an open mic. But I think the reason it's so good for like experimenting with like the kind of stuff you're saying was for that reason, because you still have the pressure, but it really does not matter at the same time.
But it's also good to like change it up, like from gig to gig. Just so you can like hear like different feedback from, especially if your friends that are there for, like, if you hear you play it a few times, like, okay, that sounds good, that's not so good. Because like that's what I miss about having feedback from band members. Because like I used to talk to them and say, what do you think of this bit, what should I do here, whatever. Even though I was the songwriter for the band, they did like have inputs. But whereas now I've got to do everything on my own and just trust my own judgment that it sounds alright.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
And then I take it on stage and be like, okay, yeah, it sounds alright.
Yeah. It's much harder to assess yourself as well. I mean, we're really bad at it as humans, because we just don't really know what we sound like. We're just so used to hearing what we hear. And that's a classic thing. If you think you've done a really bad gig, it was probably really good, and if you think you've done a really good gig, it's actually probably not very good. I mean, it's really true. It's really true.
So I remember my first gig, it was like October 2009, and then went off stage, and I thought it would be amazing. Like, great. And then I spoke to this guy. I was like, "Oh, how did it go?" And he said, "It wasn't too bad." I was like, "Oh, alright, okay." I was expecting, man, that was amazing. You sounded so good.
Ooh, it wasn't too bad.
Too bad. It's like, okay.
That's almost like, that's really interesting, actually, because the way he says it is like, you think it was bad. But you didn't. I mean, that's the perfect example of it. God, that's rough, man.
But I thought it was brilliant.
What's like the harshest criticism someone's given you?
Harsh criticism? It's not really criticism. Well, it wasn't really harsh, but in a way. I did a gig back in North Wales like 3 years ago, something like that. Then there's a guy there, he used to see me in my punk band, but then he loved to see me like throw my guitar about, rolling around on the floor and stuff like that. And then he came to see me. I did a gig at a punk gig, and then I played the song Lost It with a violin burst, so probably chilled the mood out. And then he came up to me afterwards, like, "Oh, I love stuff you used to do with the punk band, but he needs to get rid of that violin bullshit."
Really?
Ooh, nice. And I was like, well, actually, most people like it. But I was like, okay, it's not for you.
Jokes on him though, jokes on him.
It's my most popular song at the
moment.
My most listened song on Spotify. Probably my most talked about song, but I'm not going to change just to impress one guy.
What about the best thing someone said to you?
Best thing I get, if I get compared to like other bands, like I played an open mic in Prestwich, near where I work.
Which one was that, by the way?
It was in Wine and Wallop.
Oh right.
It used to be called Folk.
Okay.
So, but it's called Wine and Wallop. And then the host, he put a story up and said, if Sonic Youth and Joy Division had a baby, it'd be Migs. Okay, that's pretty good.
Isn't that's on your Instagram?
Yeah, I put it up. I was like, okay, that's good.
That's a good one to have.
And then someone else said like if obviously if I get compared to like Sigur Rós, if they noticed where I got the influence from with the violin bow, that's good as well. So okay,
you like that?
And then someone said about Spiritualized as well. They're like I'm very influenced for my newer stuff, but not the old ones. I was like, okay, yeah, I like that. Thanks. And then I think they're the only ones that stick in my head. Maybe I've not had that many compliments.
Well, it's weird how quickly you forget about it. Like, I mean, I don't know. There's nothing that I would say is like a set answer for that. Because I don't know. You just kind of. I guess it doesn't really stay with you a lot of the time. I think compliments sometimes less than insults.
So you got to think sometimes they just being nice. Like, oh, great set, that was great. It's like, do you say that to everyone or?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that I think hurts most.
Yeah.
Is when someone wants to be nice about your set, and they just don't find anything nice to say about it. Like
if they can pinpoint something, like say, oh, sounded a bit like Sigur Rós, like like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Another thing I just remember as well, when I was playing that song, someone, it was in Salford Arms, like before lockdown, and then this girl was there saying, oh, she liked it, and then she's saying, what was that song? I was like, oh, it's one of my own songs. I was like, what have you on? It's like, and she thought it was like a Radiohead song.
Really?
And then when I was playing it, she was googling the lyrics, trying to find out what it was.
Wow.
I wrote that song. Like,
wow. That is probably one of the best compliments when someone's like, "Oh, was that your own song? Was that your own song?" Like, that's an amazing feeling.
Yeah. Unless they say, "Oh, it sounds just like someone else," I was like, "Oh, does it?"
Yeah.
Because that happened with like one of band songs. I wrote this riff, and then someone said like, "That sounds just like Black Sabbath riff."
Yeah.
And I was like, I had like 3 Black Sabbath albums. I was like, I've not heard that riff.
Yeah.
And then I think it's on the Master Reality album. And then someone played it, and I was like, shit, it sounds a lot like it.
Yeah. No, that is actually a really, like when someone's like, oh, I like that riff. Like, what does it remind me of? It's like, oh no, you know. Especially if it's a riff you really like.
Yeah.
And it's just the worst feeling because it's like, you just think you've done something exciting and interesting. And
it's really cool. It's like dun 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 dun. That one.
Is it? Oh, is it? And it's exactly the same.
Yeah, apparently.
That's so jarring, man. That's so jarring.
It's a cool song, but
yeah.
Don't need to play anymore. So it's history.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask, before we start wrapping up. So you're from, was it North Wales?
North Wales, yeah.
Do they still speak Welsh? Like, is it more in South Wales?
It depends. I think more the countryside.
Yeah.
They speak, because I'm Welsh first language.
You are?
Yeah.
Wow.
I went to Welsh primary school, went to Welsh high school.
Yeah.
And then I went to college in Llandrillo, which is like, some Welsh there, but in my art class, I was the only one speaking English. I mean, only one speaking Welsh.
Yeah.
So I had to like speak English. And then, so after that, I spoke English more.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, there's not that many Welsh.
Mm.
But a lot of people saying that, like, well, my family, they're very Welsh. My mum was like, you should write some Welsh songs. I was like, I want to, but all my friends don't speak Welsh, so they won't understand it.
You should. That would be.
But I wanted to write
cool.
a song like half Welsh, half English.
Yeah,
so I think that would be really cool. Because I like listening to like Spanish music, like French music, stuff like that. And obviously Sigur Rós from Iceland. Don't know what they're saying, but it sounds really nice to me.
Yeah.
So I want to know if I sang a song in Welsh, would it sound as nice to people who don't know what I'm saying? So I just need to pick the right words to like get the sound of the word rather than the meaning. So obviously that's an idea I've got as well, but not.
Oh, I really like that. I mean, to be honest, I write like songs in English like that. Like, I mean, with it being my first language, like it's just, I don't. People have different ways of writing lyrics, but for me, it's just very like what sort of sounds sort of poetic and interesting. And like almost worry about the meaning of it later. Yeah. Because there is always like what surprises me is I'll just write something that sort of sounds good, and then someone will be like, "Oh, is that about does this relate to this or this thing?" And it doesn't relate to anything in my mind. But once someone said that, it's like that is exactly exactly it. Which is why I get quite worried when I write a really depressing song. It's like, is this like my subconscious sort of coming out? So I mean, I think the sound of words generally in any language like would just sound good, even if you don't understand it. Like, I mean, I listen to a lot of Russian music, and like the emotion that sort of travels across sort of very bleak lyricism is so cool. I don't really understand a lot of it at all, but I definitely wouldn't want to hear it in English. And I think the kind of like sort of the style of music they're performing is almost wouldn't work in English because something about the music of the actual language would just be completely lost. So it is an interesting one because English is such a global language for music. But it does seem to be possible for like foreign language music to sort of break out. Because obviously I'm listening like songs from Iceland, like miles away. Exactly.
And, like
exactly.
Spanish, French, whatever. But,
I think music has an ability to do that in a way that like other media can't so much. Like, because people just appreciate language even if they don't understand it.
Yeah.
Like just the musical side of it. I guess it does happen, but yeah, like watching a film in subtitles is slightly harder than listening to a foreign language song. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where your stuff goes then.
Yeah, just thought it sounds good in my head. Just hope I can put it on paper or on guitar, put it in a recording.
Yeah.
I feel like I get frustrated about that sometimes because I feel like I've got those ideas in my head, and then I just can't get it to work on the guitar.
Yeah.
But if I keep trying, I'll get there eventually, or I just change it, and then
when you say like you can't get it to work on guitar, like you mean you can't play what's in your head, or you can't...
or it just doesn't sound very good. Because like I've got this one song that sounds a lot like the band Slow Dive, and then what I'm thinking in my head sounds really good, but then as soon as I put it on the loop pedal, and then everything just slightly not quite in time with each other. And then I can't get the right drum beats that I'm thinking of, and then it just sounds a lot smoother in my head, but it's a bit rough on the guitar. But I think if I keep practicing it, I'll get there.
No, I know that feeling, to be fair. Like, especially like vocal harmonies. You kind of have, because the brain is not great at imagining two things interlocking exactly how they do in real life. So you have two like things you want to go together. And they sound great on their own. And there are bits where they sound great like together, and there are often quite large bits that just don't fit at all, and that's always quite annoying because there's not much you can do about that really. You just have to start again. Well, we've hit an hour, so thanks very much for
no worries.
Coming down. And look forward to seeing more of you at open mics and stuff. And
sounds good.
Hopefully, you playing at gigs and bands and stuff like that?
I'm playing on the 18th of June.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, nice,
I'm
brilliant.
playing at the Student Union Bar, I think.
Oh, wow, nice,
So,
brilliant.
there's a lot of bands that
Cut Loose?
That
nice, brilliant.
So,
I'll try and make it down.
Yeah, that's my next big gig.
It's gonna be
busy.
A big one. Probably like the best gig, to be honest, to get. Like, brilliant. Well, thanks very much for coming on.
No worries, cheers.